Hey guys, how you doing tonight? This is the Club of the Man 1993. I am here live for a special little stream. Special little topic video. Because I just took my remote and muted Raw. So I'm watching Monday Night Raw right now. I wanted to watch Monday Night Raw tonight because I just wanted to see the loud Chicago reactions and see how WWE would fight back against the crowd that I'm sure was going to chant AEW, 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 or CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. But of course, they piped in the noises, and we're getting rubbish on Raw. So I thought I would come up here. Well, not really come up here because we're still in my living room right now. I thought I would come up live and catch up and discuss one of the biggest topics from this weekend in wrestling, and that was the release of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt, who was released this past Saturday, July 31st, 2021, as I was preparing to tear it up on the dance floor at my sister's best friend's wedding, and I killed it. I was pimping. Just kidding. I was not pimping. I was just looking very good that night. But in the midst of all that, the WWE announced that they have released Bray Wyatt from his contract. This comes just a few months after WrestleMania 37, where they basically completely buried the Fiend gimmick. Now, a lot of people I know, especially people in the company, are very unhappy with them getting rid of Bray Wyatt. And the comments was, just astronomical. People were upset. People were saying how great and creative Bray Wyatt is, or Wyndham Rotunda, whatever the heck his real life name is. Just how much of a mastermind he is. And we all seen that. My favorite, which I know most of you have seen this one, was from Mickie James. Let me see if I can find Mickie James' tweet that she said when she retweeted about Bray Wyatt's release. If I can find that here. Hang on, everybody. Just get started. And I'll find it. I will find it here. Where is it? Where in the world is it? Scrolling here, searching it. Where is it? Oh, come on. Well, I'll search it. I'll just go straight to Mickey's Twitter. Mickie James Aldis, who's on Impact Wrestling, I think, getting ready to challenge my girl Deonna Purrazzo. Sorry, one of my favorite female wrestlers. I'll say. I can't say my girl anymore because I know my girlfriend would kill me. But anyways, where is it? Where is this tweet? Come on, it's gotta be here somewhere. Please don't tell me she took it down. Please don't tell me she took it down. Come on. Come on. Where is it? Aha, here it is. This is what Mickie James tweeted about the release. So, of course, WWE.com says, WWE has come to terms on the release of Bray Wyatt. We wish him the best in all his future endeavors. And, of course, she even says something, of course, in the trend and further into the tweet that I didn't see before until now. But Mickie James retweeted and said, I think what you meant to say was, thank you so much for coming up with such an incredible gimmick, time and time again. One so cool and over, we really didn't know how to book it right. So we just gave it to someone else so we can still make all the money off of it and let you go. And then she also, this is the part I didn't see, she also says this isn't against Alexa. I love her. She's an incredible performer who is killing it in the role she was given. She always does. We as artists take every role we're given and turn it into gold. They both did that. Like it / not, facts are facts. So sorry if that offends you. Obviously, there's stating the truth there about what WWE basically did with Bray Wyatt's last gimmick, The Fiend. As you saw during his time in WWE, again, the first time I ever saw Bray Wyatt wrestle, of course, since I'm a late bloomer wrestling fan, was SummerSlam 2013 when he wrestled Kane in the Ring of Fire match at SummerSlam 2013. And he had some other, little run-ins with some, not so big names. And then he feuded with Daniel Bryan. He had that amazing match, the kickoff Royal Rumble 2014, against Daniel Bryan, actually. It started the main show. And that was an incredible match. And then he feuded with John Cena. Well, after he feuded with John Cena, after he had that classic with Harper and Rowan teaming up with him, rest in peace Brody Lee, by the way, teaming up against The Shield. And they put on a classic, a match of the year candidate for 2014. Maybe one of the best matches of the year. We have that. But then he lost to John Cena. And then he kind of just went irrelevant for a while after that. He lost to Cena. He then had a feud with Chris Jericho, I think it was, and then Dean Ambrose, which just was what it was. And then he feuded with The Undertaker for WrestleMania 31. He lost there. And then, after that, who did he feud with after that? Seriously, who did he feud with after that? I really can't remember up until WrestleMania 32, whenever, WrestleMania 32, where the Wyatt family basically got buried by John Cena and The Rock. And then I remember, the night after WrestleMania 32, the Wyatt family attacked the League of Nations and basically turned face. And the following week on Raw, Bray Wyatt teamed with Roman Reigns, who, that's who he feuded with for most of the rest of 2015 with Roman Reigns. Because they had an excellent Hell in a Cell match at Hell in a Cell 2015. And I think they feuded with the Dudley Boys after that. I think it was. I can't remember. But I remember how hot and how over he was when he had turned face, and when he teamed up with Roman Reigns to take on two members of the League of Nations. But then he got hurt, and then they brought him back and made him the Wyatt family heels again. And then they kind of like separated them a little bit, because that's when Braun Strowman was around, and Strowman went over to Raw and started his own thing, and then the rest of the Wyatts went over to SmackDown. And then he had that feud with Randy Orton, which looked like it was starting to turn him around again. Having, him beat Orton, and then Orton basically, wanted to join him, but then the whole time he was playing the mind games to, getting ahead of Bray Wyatt. He won the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber 2017, just to be a transitional champion to drop it to Randy Orton, just for Randy Orton for a month later to put over Jinder Mahal. So that feud was just boom. How can we forget also the freaking House of Horrors match? Oh God, that was bad. He won that, but that was a wrongdoing there, because that should have resulted in a double turn. It should have been Bray Wyatt being the face, overcoming the monster he created, Randy Orton. But instead, he did that. He goes to Raw and feuds with Finn Balor in a feud that should have benefited both of them. That could have been amazing. Instead, sucked the life out of both of them. That was literally, and then, what was after that? Oh yeah, then he almost had a match with Finn Balor at TLC in 2017, where it was Pumpkin King Finn Balor versus Sister Abigail Bray Wyatt in drag, which at TLC, but then he got sick, and then they had to pull the plug on that, which thank God they did, because, oh God, that would have been horrible. But then that's when I honestly felt Bray Wyatt's character was dead. He literally had like his Eater of Worlds character was dead because he had a feud with Matt Hardy afterwards when they let Matt Hardy be Woken Matt Hardy, and that feud was boring as hell. And then they turned him face at WrestleMania 34, and him and Hardy became a tag team, which, you know, they could have done a lot with it, but they were just tag champions that kept winning every week. There was literally no story. No story to them at all. They literally didn't even dig into their characters. They could have dug into their characters, done so much. Then they dropped them to the B team. Then Bray Wyatt went off TV for 9 months. He was gone until after WrestleMania 35, when he debuted his new character, The Fiend, and the Firefly Funhouse. And it was excellent. At first, I wasn't crazy about it, because I thought this is him being Mr. Rogers. But then it was like, oh, hi, how you doing, kids? Bam! We're now being horror. Let me in. It was amazing! He had an amazing re-debut at SummerSlam 2019 when he squashed Finn Balor. Like, the crowd was just in awe, drooling over him when he debuted. So we had that. Then he feuded with Seth Rollins. We had that stupid incident with Hell in a Cell, which wounded The Fiend, but it didn't really hurt him. It more so hurt Seth Rollins. So that, even though it was stupid, I can forgive it because it didn't really, for Bray Wyatt's sake, it didn't hurt him. He won the championship the next month at Crown Jewel in that Falls Count Anywhere. The match cannot be stopped for any reason. Yet the match can be stopped inside of Hell in a Cell. But he had a good series of matches with Daniel Bryan. He had a brief feud with The Miz in between, Survivor Series and Rumble. And then they bring in Goldberg. And I'm thinking, okay, the rumors are obviously the Roman Reigns is probably going to defeat The Fiend at WrestleMania. Even though I hate that idea, I'm like, okay, but at least they have history. They do have history, and the whole purpose behind The Fiend was for him to go after those who had hurt him and basically get his revenge on them. And he, for the most part, almost all of them got his revenge. And then The Fiend, and then Goldberg came in, and I'm thinking, okay, this would be an excellent opponent to put over The Fiend, make him so powerful going into WrestleMania against Roman Reigns. But what happened? WWE knew that if they had The Fiend go into WrestleMania as champion, they would boo Roman Reigns, and they couldn't have that. So what did they do? Instead of just doing the right thing, having The Fiend beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, no, they had The Fiend lose to Goldberg in a squash match at Super Showdown. And then the pandemic happened. Everybody always jokes around and says that Goldberg winning the championship was just the downfall for everything. Because, I mean, it's true. After that, like, everything went downhill in the world, basically. And then, apparently, Bray was upset about that because, yeah, he definitely deserved to be in one of the marquee matches. Okay, yes, he was against John Cena, but still, he deserved to be going into WrestleMania as champion and walking out of WrestleMania as champion. The Fiend was somebody who should not have lost till that one unique Mystique other came along. And honestly, that one other person, I still feel to this day, could have been Aleister Black. With, both their characters, how they are, Aleister Black could have been the one I felt to be the one to eventually dethrone The Fiend. Like, somebody who was able to find The Fiend's weaknesses. So he lost to Goldberg, and then, yes, he did beat John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match. So that kind of, salvaged a little bit, but obviously, Roman Reigns was still around on SmackDown. Well, this is when Roman Reigns was off TV during the pandemic before they brought in the Thunderdome. He feuded with Bray Wyatt. He feuded with Braun Strowman the entire summer, which, that was fine. I didn't hate that feud completely. I did lose interest in it, though, whenever they brought back Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt and that swamp fight, whatever it was called, at Extreme Rules. That was horrible. That was so horrible. And then the Bills, their SummerSlam match sucked also, but their SummerSlam match was actually good. The Fiend won, but then Roman came back as a heel, and trust me, I wanted the title on Roman Reigns at that time also. So I'm like, yes, this is how it's got to be. And that was the right call to make, of course. But then, obviously, The Fiend was stuck in limbo again, and they moved him over to Raw. And I'm like, okay, fine. Put him on Raw, get him as far away from Roman, and let him shine. Because Roman Reigns was the only reason at the time why The Fiend kept getting pushed back. Because they wanted to protect The Fiend from losing to Roman Reigns. Because they knew we'd be unhappy about it. And then he feuded with Randy Orton. And yes, they burned The Fiend at TLC. Even though I was mixed bag about that, because I would rather have had somebody else be the one to find that weakness to The Fiend, I'm like, at least him and Randy had history. You know, Randy already overcame Bray Wyatt. He knew Bray Wyatt's weaknesses. So, him understanding that, obviously, I can believe that, okay, he knew how to, take down The Fiend. And then, they focused so much time on transitioning Alexa Bliss into that dark, dark character. Basically, what we thought it was, us building for The Fiend to turn babyface and come back and get his revenge on Randy Orton at WrestleMania in a gimmick match. This whole thing was done just to suck the life out of the Fiend gimmick and put it on Alexa Bliss. Because the Fiend returned before WrestleMania, and then at WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss basically turned on the Fiend saying, I didn't need your powers anymore. And off of one RKO, Bray Wyatt's career in WWE was over. And I'm still disgusted by that match at WrestleMania. And I'm not going to sit here and rant about how WWE let go of Bray Wyatt. Because, quite frankly, I'm happy they did. I'm happy they did because there's several people that I'm glad they let go of that just... mostly anyone they've let go of this year, or last year, or in recent years, I'm glad they let go of, or I'm glad they got out. Because Bray Wyatt himself was a creative man, so unique, had the tools to be a megastar in WWE. But none of his ideas were Vince's ideas. They couldn't pull the trigger on him. They couldn't pull the trigger. They couldn't let him be the big megastar he could be. And, Mickey saying in that tweet that, what's it called now? They basically, had this great idea that Bray Wyatt came up with, but then creative didn't know what to do with it. No, creative could have done something with it. The simplest little things could have happened, and we wouldn't even be here today. But now that Bray Wyatt's been set free, obviously with a 90-day no-compete clause, unless you're like Aleister Black and get lucky and still have your 30-day no-compete clause on your contract by accident, he's going to go somewhere. Maybe AEW, maybe Impact, maybe New Japan. I don't know. A lot of people are saying he should explore other opportunities besides AEW because of how full they are, which I agree. But I feel like, if Tony Khan brought in Bray Wyatt, you know Tony Khan would not want to pass up a chance on trying to get a Bray Wyatt. Again, if this man was creative, and even though they hit a glass, they hit a ceiling in WWE several times, many times with his gimmicks, he still had something going for him. He still did. And AEW, he's going to have, that thing going for him again, except they're not going to stop him. They are not going to put that ceiling up on him if he goes to AEW or anywhere else. And, again, like I said, this was one other person that was treated like absolute garbage. He was robbed how many times of WrestleMania moments? He should have won at WrestleMania 30 against John Cena. He should have won at WrestleMania 31 against The Undertaker. Heck, he could have been the one to end The Undertaker's streak. He should have won against Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33. He should have. He should have... That whole feud should have been a way to the double turn Bray Wyatt face, Randy Orton heel. Basically the same storyline as my good friend Rob-Wan Kenobi pitched for Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt, a Bray Wyatt feud. That would have made it a lot better. And then, of course, he should have beaten Goldberg. He didn't have to face Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell 2019 and have that match stoppage finish. Well, guess what, Vince? Match stop my ass. Because that was so stupid. Every dead end you put in front of Bray Wyatt, you were just idiots. And you completely wasted a unique and amazing talent. And like I said, I'm happy he got out. I am very happy he got out and is going to be able to go somewhere where his creative input will be appreciated, will be listened to, and he will thrive. He will become a megastar elsewhere. He could have been one in WWE, but they didn't let him become a megastar in WWE because they weren't the ones making him the megastar. He was the one making himself a megastar. Anybody in the live chat, let's hear what your thoughts are on this. We've got Aditya Katruwal saying hi. JR says, did you hear about the release of Ric Flair from WWE today? Yeah, apparently Ric Flair was released from his Legends contract today. Didn't read much into it yet, but I did hear about that. Bray Wyatt's heart left WWE when Brody Lee passed away. I did hear rumors also that Bray was dealing with some depression issues after Brody Lee died, which I don't blame him. They were best friends. They were really good. And of course, also you realize Bray Wyatt leaving is the last of the Wyatt family in WWE. Because Brody Lee left and he passed away. Eric Rowan got released. Braun Strowman just got released. That I still can't believe. But Braun Strowman was one of those guys that WWE never pushed him because they wanted to push him. They pushed him when they needed to because they had nobody else to fill that spot. So, and Bray Wyatt, of course, every time. Again, most of this dead ends was because of Roman Reigns. Unfortunately. Bray was not going to beat Goldberg last year. He should have, though. Again, he should have. There was no reason for Goldberg to win that match at Super Showdown. And again, no offense to Bill, because he was on Raw tonight. He's overstayed his welcome. And yes, I am happy, he got to come back in 2016. He got to, wash that bad taste out of his mouth. He got to perform in front of his son, take the championship to school. I'm happy, and that was all fine and dandy. But I'm sorry. Really, ever since then, most of the time when he's come back, it's been super pointless. Him and The Undertaker flubbed and botched the hell out of their match at Super Showdown in 2019. Or where it was. 19? Yeah, 2019. 2020, again, he did not need... Well, okay, I'll give it that I was fine also with his SummerSlam match with Dolph Ziggler. That squash match he had. That was fine. I was fine by that. That was just a nostalgia act. And it was what it was. It was cool with me. But that, he didn't need to come back to beat The Fiend. He didn't have to face Roman Reigns or Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. I mean, although point over Braun Strowman was nice. But, like I said, at the time, that's when nobody cared about Braun Strowman anymore. And then he faced Drew McIntyre. He put him over, yes, but there was really no need for it. And I was getting ready to fight Bobby Lashley over Brock Lesnar. So, again, I love you, Bill. I respect Bill Goldberg. But, again, he should not have, ever... He's overstaying his welcome. Roman and Orton bury Bray Wyatt in WWE. Even though it was... I don't really feel like it was Roman who actually buried him. It's just... The long-term booking of Roman got in the way. The ones who buried Bray Wyatt was John Cena and Randy Orton. Those are the ones I feel like that buried him the worst, I feel like. But, yeah. And, of course, there are rumors that Braun Strowman's coming back to WWE. That'd be stupid. Again, Braun Strowman, again, to me, you could tell, always was booked in that way where WWE needed him to do something to make them look good. It was never for the benefit Braun Strowman. It was always, Braun Strowman was always booked in a way of saying WWE needed him for this. They needed him to basically, go out there and wreak havoc when the crowd was booing. They needed him to be Universal Champion when Roman Reigns went home. But then when Roman got back, he was booked like shit again. And I wouldn't go back if I was him. But I had something else I was going to say about Bray, but I can't remember now. I'm not sure. Lost a train of thought there. Dang it. But yeah, again, I'm happy that Bray got out of WWE. Like I said, if he was going to be booked like crap continuously, and well, what was there left to do? Oh, I remember what I was going to say now, but and Mickie James is right. Again, it's just the whole thing of like WWE taking somebody else's idea and making it their own. Again, they transferred the Fiend gimmick onto Alexa Bliss, and they even ruined it with Alexa Bliss, because with Bray Wyatt, yes, there's some things I'm sure, they could do more with the Fiend gimmick, but obviously they couldn't, in front of a live crowd, but they kept it to a minimum. They kept the goofiness to a minimum. And that's why it worked so good. With Alexa Bliss having the Fiend gimmick, they're literally they did things that they couldn't do in front of a live crowd while it was the Thunderdome gimmick. And then the booking's just so crap. It's just so crap, and even seeing Bray getting let go even leaves more of a salty taste in my mouth for Alexa Bliss getting the Fiend gimmick transferred on her, basically. So yeah. But that's my thoughts, guys. That's my thoughts on Bray Wyatt being released from WWE. And again, I'm happy he's free. And I'm happy he's going to be able to go somewhere else and be able to, give his input and not have all these ceilings put above his head for his gimmicks. Wherever he goes, he is going to be a megastar. He's going to be awesome, and he's going to make whoever he works for a lot of money. So that's my thoughts, guys, on the release of Bray Wyatt. Guys, what are your thoughts on WWE releasing Bray Wyatt? Where do you think Bray Wyatt is going to go? Do you think it was the right idea for Bray Wyatt to leave? Do you think, there was some things he could have done better? Do you think there was other moments where they didn't book him right? Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Slap a like on the video, subscribe for more content on my channel, and follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. The rest of the week, I don't know if I'm going to get to review Raw. I am not watching NXT tomorrow night because I'm going to my girlfriend's. So I'll probably try to do some reviews on Wednesday. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not, because Joe's coming over to watch Dynamite. So maybe after Dynamite. Thursday I'm going to watch my friend's band concert. And then Friday I should be able to do something. Who knows? But, as always, guys, just be patient with me, and I will get caught up on things when I can. So as always, guys, again, what are your thoughts on this? Slap like on the video. Subscribe more content to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, DemandAir93. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night. And, if you're watching Raw, enjoy. If you're not, good for you. Peace out, everybody.